This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Bruce.
Jody, hello.
What's going on over there?
Well, I'm a little shaken.
Oh,
Mostly because of this. There was this thing that came out about a week ago. It's I think it won a National Geographic award, and it's basically a close-up picture of an ant's face. Now, if you're like me, when you're thinking about an ant, you're thinking like the cartoon faces that we always see, or like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of cute ant face. Well, all of that was a lie. And I just sent you a link. Okay. Click on the link, and you'll see.
Oh, I'm scared now. I want it to look cute. Okay. Clicking.
Yes.
Oh, there's like a preview of something scary. What is
Yes. Yes.
that? Is this ant terrifying or beautiful? Is that just a regular ant?
So that is a regular
Carpenter ant.
Yes. Yes. And so, I mean, it
that should be in horror movies.
It absolutely should. Now, you see,
they don't
something
even
like,
need to make up anything. Just take from real life. Ugh.
Right? Exactly.
Little beady red eyes.
I know. So, looking at that, I'm like, are those eyes? Are they antenna? What are we?
I don't know what's happening there. But...
I can't tell either, but it is frightening. Whatever it is frightening as hell.
And it's got like hair around the mouth and on. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. So it's hair. At first, I thought it was. I thought
they were teeth.
Yeah.
I zoomed in a little bit. I was like, oh, that looks like hair because it's the same on its chin. That is really creepy.
It's the stuff of nightmares. Like that right there is like, my God. That's, you've ever had an ant like crawl across your hand or now you know what you're dealing with.
I love it. It bears almost no resemblance to the cutesy cartoonish faces from A Bug's Life or Ants.
Right.
Ugh.
Nope. I know. It's the stuff that nightmares are made of. So yes, I wanted to share that nightmare with you. It is, so I said National Geographic. It is not. It was honored with a distinction in Nikon's 2022 Small World Photo Micrography competition. Micrography, is that right?
Well, I don't know.
Micrography.
Yeah, micrography.
There we
sounds
there
like
we
a better
go.
word.
Yeah. Quickly,
I want to see what other things they were taking close-up pictures of.
So there was another one that was like an embryo, like a gecko embryo, and it was like its hand, and you could see almost like an X-ray view of it. And I think it was like I think it won the top award or something like that. But this is the one that's going to stay with us. Oh my God.
Even
There's
this other, I know, it's like, even if this other one is kind of creepy.
Oh, hell no. Oh. Oof.
Yeah, I think those are not those aren't the eyes that the antennas are coming out of, but
okay. So this second photo. So we're looking at an article on the Washington Post that shows this frightening first photo and a second one that's not much better, to be honest, but it does show from a different angle. So it looks like the antennas kind of like a nose, and then there's a mouth and it's furry, and then there's what I'm guessing or maybe eyes.
Yeah, the eyes look like they're kind of back further.
Yeah, thank goodness those are the eyes and not what we thought at first, because
yeah, see, and then the picture of the ant looks fine.
Yeah, it looks more like an ant,
like way zoomed out.
Yeah, I'm oh, there we go. Yes, okay. When you see it way zoomed out, it's more of what we're
I love how this first one is like it's all dark and like they made it look creepier.
Oh yeah, it's like when you use like portrait mode on your iPhone.
Yeah. Makes it look way creepier. It just like blurred out all the background, so it looks really dark and it's like coming out to get you.
If I look like that when I use portrait mode, I'm just getting rid of my phone. That's
we'll have to have a talk.
Yes. So
well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for starting it with creepy carpenter ants.
Yeah.
I will never think the same. You're not cutesy anymore.
It's rough. It's rough.
Come on, Bugs Life. Why didn't you do accurate representations of what these ants look like?
Yes. Yes. So this week we thought we'd talk about a few different things, maybe a little bit of tech stuff, but also something we haven't done in at least a couple months is talk about the shows that we are watching or have recently watched.
Yes.
And
It's finally that time of year where it's like cuddle on the couch weather here in
it is.
PNW. So
it is. And in my household at night, it's definitely TV watching time, because we've still got a little guy who goes to sleep early, and that means that I've got a lot of time to just kind of hang and watch shows. And so,
nice.
in the evenings, we're watching a lot of different shows. And so I thought maybe we could just kind of blast through some of the things that we're watching and sort of go from there.
What's your go-to lately?
Okay, so there's been a lot of discussion about both these two shows, and I'm kind of lumping them together because they're similar.
Okay.
House of the Dragon, and which is the Game of Thrones, whatever show, prequel,
Kind of,
whatever.
prequel, yeah.
Yes. And The Rings of Power on Amazon, which is the Lord of the Rings thing, Here's what I'll say from a high level. I of course am going to watch House of the Dragon. I don't know, for me personally, if I really love it though. Like, it's not bad. It's not like the show is not good. It's just not, I don't know.
It's very slow.
It's slow. It's just, there's nobody that I really like, which, I mean, it's Game of Thrones. That's pretty much par for the course, but I just I don't know. There's something about it that was just, there are actors that I love in it. I love Matt Smith very specifically. He's great. He's wonderful.
Is he the brother?
Yes.
To the king? Yes. Yeah, that's the only character I really like.
I liked the king
of liking characters. Yeah.
Yes. The king was spoiler for anybody who hasn't watched it. Sorry.
People die. Yes.
Yes. People die in a Game of Thrones show. Yes.
Imagine that.
I know. So, the king, I liked. He definitely grew on me over time. I thought, you have to have that kind of voice of reason, which was like in the first season of Game of Thrones, that was Sean Bean, and we know how that worked out for him, not well. So I don't know. It's a cool show, but I don't know if maybe I'm just not feeling shows where everybody is super unlikable and just that kind of intrigue that I don't know. I
kind of liked the daughter when she was younger.
Yes.
She was kind of a badass, and I was hoping that was going to continue through. And then they jumped her to be older in the middle somewhere. And then I was like, wait, I don't like her now.
Yeah. And
she got married, and I was like, wait, she's supposed to be a badass.
Yes. Right. And like millions and millions of other people, I loved Game of Thrones, but I don't know. But I feel like this time around for me, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just where I'm at. I don't know. It's not them. It's me, I'm sure.
Well, I've heard the same sort of thing from a lot of people, that it's I'm watching it, but I'm not loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. And what
it took until a third episode for me to really okay, I think I'll continue watching this, because I was I don't know if I can keep watching it. It's just so boring. Nothing really happened.
Right.
I was more people should have died by now. What's happening?
I know. And everybody was just, I just, yes, I'm going to keep watching it, of course, but I don't know how I feel about it. After one season, that's not, for me, that's not a good sign to be meh.
Nope. It's probably, I know. I'm I don't know that it's going to continue.
But I will say, and I know there are a lot of people who agree with me and feel the same way, and there are a lot of people who don't. Rings of Power, I loved it. It was so just straightforward high fantasy, not, I guess the thing, when I was talking to my wife about the House of the Dragon and what I didn't like about it, I kind of feel like House of the Dragon is like, it feels like Succession with dragons and fantasy and
Mhm.
brothers and sisters marrying each other.
Yeah, there
So
wasn't really anything new.
right.
Like, yeah, it's the same kind of
Yeah,
thing.
totally. And people loved that thing, obviously, and that's how,
Yeah, but
you
it
know,
was those characters that we
right.
loved,
It
not necessarily,
it yes, and that's maybe the thing. I just
Mhm.
Rings of Power I really liked because it just felt, I don't know, it lighter in some ways. It felt more straightforward fantasy, just high fantasy. It felt
Mhm,
like
mhm.
I don't know. I felt like I needed that more than I needed the House of the Dragon. So for me, that was I watched both, but
Yep, yep.
I'm excited for Rings of Power to come back, which it's not until like 2024. So
Jesus.
we got a ways to go, but that's the one I'm
I
excited
guess
about.
I'll be excited to watch it again when it comes back.
Yes. Now I did read, I don't know if this is still happening or anything like that. I did not come prepared today, but I did read that there's going to be a Jon Snow series.
I did see something about that too. I don't know
So
when or what, but
yeah. And so that I'm down with that. I'm down with that
is
for
it going to be
sure.
the same guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, the same actor, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So
all right. I'm down
that'll
for
be
that.
really cool. Yeah, totally. So, it's my own personal preference. If you're a hardcore Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon fan, I apologize, but enjoy your show. It is definitely not going anywhere. That show's I'm sure we'll get 7 seasons of that
I
at
don't know.
least.
Yeah.
So, and maybe it'll grow. Maybe season 2 I'll be like, I was wrong. It's
Mhm,
great
mhm.
now. Who knows? But
Well, yeah, it could take. I mean, I'm pretty sure I liked Game of Thrones the first season. Like, it was like, what the hell? But
mm,
it was such a new story and a
yeah,
new thing. But now, yeah, like how many was there, like 7 or 9 seasons
I
of
think,
that?
yeah, 7, I think. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it
So
was phenomenal. There were, I think that last season, not so great, the ending.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, hey,
I
it
still
got the job
everyone
done.
watched it. Yeah.
Yes. So what are you watching? What's your
So I'm I hate it when stuff auto plays.
Oh yes, I know. It's the scourge of
I'm
the
like,
internet.
stop playing. I have been watching on Amazon Prime Interview with a Vampire, an
Oh,
updated Anne Rice show, or it was a
yes.
book, but it's an updated show. So it's really different than the first one. Well, because the first one was a movie, but this is a show. So,
Right.
but it's got the same characters, but it's
Right.
very different. Yes, they really play up the homoerotic or gay relationship between Lestat and Louis.
Which they
Um,
really only hinted at in the
yeah,
movie with
yeah,
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Kristen
yeah.
Dunst.
They're very
But
much in a relationship in the series, so
yeah,
that was different. But yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it.
I read most of her books about,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
based around all of these, and I really liked them. I mean, it's been a long time, but
Yeah,
yeah, so
but they
that's
kind of
good.
reference the first like interview in this series, like
Oh,
kind of like they have the guy that's interviewing him. I'm
hmm.
trying to remember who that was in the movie. I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah, I can't
Anyways,
either.
they reference like the old interview and how his recollection of things has changed in the however many years since they've done that original interview, and he
Oh,
wanted to have an updated interview.
so
So
it's like a continuation of that.
kind of, yeah, it's like
Oh,
here's the real story of what happened, not my interpretation of the story when I was younger, a younger vampire or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
okay, nice. Well,
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding that to my list. I had seen something about it. I forgot about it. It's like peak TV. There's so much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm all about the vampires and witches pretty much all the time, but especially this time of year. So
yes.
definitely check out Interview with a Vampire. Other than that, I mean, I was watching or whatever, Rings of Power and
Yes.
the Dragon Show. I've just
Yep.
been it's the October, so I always watch a bunch of not crazy scary movies, but a lot of vampires like Dracula,
Right.
Van Helsing. There's a new one on Netflix called First Kill.
Oh,
It's about like vampire slayers and vampires, more of a modern, and how
okay.
they're like living in the same town. And yeah, it's weird, but
Interesting.
um
So
yeah,
I
lots of
have
vampire stuff on
I've
my watched list.
yes, 'tis the season.
Mhm.
I have just gotten into, well, just finished She-Hulk, which,
Oh yeah. I was watching
um
that.
so I loved She-Hulk, and I think if you weren't familiar with the comic, that was the first. So for me, I read the Marvel comics, when I was a kid, and
Hmm.
I remember She-Hulk being kind of the first instance of like meta storytelling. So
Okay.
basically, I remember an episode or a edition of the comic that um, had where she was talking to the reader. So she's talking to the reader, and then uh something had happened where she went and like grabbed the writer or the artist. I remember these things that where it was taking it out of just being like a character in a story to like her interfacing with the people who are writing
Oh,
the comic. And so this issue,
okay.
or a few of the issues even, were like that, where a lot of what you see in the show, it's based off of that. So when she's breaking the fourth wall and talking to the
Okay.
viewer, or if I mean, I won't majorly spoil it, or the things that happen in the finale, um, which you definitely, I liked a lot of what they did with the finale. Um, there's a lot of like kind of getting out of the story and her sort of taking control of it in some interesting ways. It was fun. I think it was fun. It was light. It was very different from what a lot of this Marvel stuff has been. And don't get me wrong, the Marvel stuff, I love it. And I love the big stories and the things that have gotten us, that have been established, that have gotten us to the point that we're at with all of these
Hmm.
movies and TV shows. But I don't think, and it's obvious to me looking at some of these things, you can't continue to just do that one thing forever. And the great thing about all of these different properties that they have is like you've got She-Hulk, where
Right.
you can talk about popular culture and uh, masculinity and toxic masculinity and trolls online and all this stuff, um, in an interesting way that fits with this story and this
Yeah.
character.
Fits within. Yeah.
And we
Never
got
thought about that.
right, and we got Daredevil back. So I mean, aside from everything else, there we go. That was pretty awesome. So I really liked what she did there. I mean, so many great cameos, Hulk, Abomination, all these, anything with Tim Roth in it, who plays Abomination. Uh, I'm down. So I was very excited about that. And obviously Tatiana Maslany, who plays She-Hulk, she killed it. Like she does everything. So she was perfect for the role. The things that I didn't love about it, or things that everybody else is already talking about, which is like some of the CGI, was not great.
Hmm.
There's some of it where it just doesn't quite look right, or where you can tell it was kind of rushed. Especially when you'd look at something like they'd have Hulk and She-Hulk in the same room together, and Hulk looks phenomenal, but She-Hulk, kind of off. Um, it wasn't like that in every time you saw her though, but there were some parts where it was like, so hopefully they fix that for. I'm guessing there's going to be a season 2, or was
Yeah,
there,
it's pretty popular.
and the other thing I didn't like, I didn't love the way that they kind of wrapped up the story. I mean, I loved, so I'm trying not to spoil it. So I loved the way that she kind of took control of her story, but I didn't. It still just felt like there was this like gap in the skip that was like, okay, well, everything can be invalidated, and I don't care. I didn't care so much about that, but I wish there would have been. They went from basically what was turning out to be a really big formulaic kind of fight to the police are here and they're taking the bad guy away. And I'm not against that as much, but I feel like I would have loved to see just something that would have gotten them there, aside from her just saying we're skipping this, which I loved, but I don't know. It just feels like it would be nice to have that gap filled in a little bit.
Okay.
So that said, very excited for whatever they do next with She-Hulk.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. What is that on again? Is that on
Disney Plus?
Disney Plus? Okay, I
And
haven't
it was
been watching much on there.
It was the most fun of the Marvel shows, TV shows, in my opinion. I think you could tell they had a lot of fun with it. It also did something that I really like that they're doing in some of these big franchise, universe things that they're building, where they're showing like people living their lives, their day to day. So there's a super powered influencer that shows up. I mean, just all of these things that are just like,
it's like a smaller story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm always a lot more curious about, okay, if what's going on with the people who live in this world where the Hulk jumps around and destroys small towns.
What is everyone else doing?
Yeah, or your family members got snapped away for 5 years and then came back. I mean, just there's so many things around that, and it's kind of cool to see what they're able to do, when they kind of fill in those blanks. So I dug it.
Awesome.
The one other show I want to throw out really quick is Andor, the Star Wars TV show.
That one I missed that one started already.
Yeah, so it's on Disney Plus, and they're at episode 8.
Oh, geez.
9, something like that.
I'm way behind.
The thing that I love about Andor is kind of what I love about She-Hulk, is that they are doing a good job of building out a world and showing what it's like for the people who live in this world, who are not all necessarily like big heroes. Not everybody's going to be a Luke Skywalker or a Darth Vader, right? So it shows kind of like there are like people who work in like, I don't know, accounting for the Empire. It's like who's these people in the accounting department for the Empire. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's just something that you don't always think about, but they found a good way to make it like it's like a heist film, or I guess TV show, but it also has that, and it also in some interesting ways reminds me of the Harry Potter series, probably more the books than the movies, but like a lot of Harry Potter is kind of like, it sort of parallels, this is what it was like living in Europe during World War II. There was this big scary thing, and these are the people trying to get through their day to day, and so you're seeing a lot of that. You get a lot of like these supporting characters, and a lot of the living under the shadow of this frightening thing that's going on that could affect you in a horrible way at any moment. There's a lot of that in Andor, and it is definitely I'm really interested in that and what they're doing with that, because they're making the Star Wars universe interesting in a different way, and they're really expanding it in a way that really stands out to me. So I am very much digging Andor, and I think Obi-Wan, when that came out, Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was good. It was fine for what it was, but it wasn't great. This I really like for what it is, and I hope that they continue to do more things like this with both of these universes, Marvel and with Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah, I did watch the first episode of Andor. I forgot. I get lost what all's going on and what I've watched and what I haven't.
Yeah, so I think they're at episode 8 or 9, but they put out the first 3 all together. So gave people kind of a kickstart to get into it. So yeah, I would highly recommend going back and watching that. I mean, you get all of the stuff that you want from a Star Wars show without, there's no Jedi, there's no lightsabers, but you're on ships. There's
you're still in the same universe.
It's really cool because it's taking these different ideas and different types of almost different genres kind of, and putting them into these worlds that are so well established that we know. And I love that they're doing that. So yeah.
Nice. I'll have to go back and continue to watch that one.
Yes. All this talking is making me thirsty.
I know. I'm like, I might need, I got to go slow on mine. I had a little sip of mine already.
What is this? What do you have?
It is here. I'm gonna pull this up again. Did it go away? Oh, it did.
I know that can. As soon as I saw that can, yes. Samichlaus.
Samichlaus Classic. It's a 14% alcohol by volume, which I did not notice.
Yeah, it's like a holiday sipper. That's like
It says it's to serve it with hearty, robust dishes and desserts, in particular with chocolates as an after dinner drink by itself. It is aged for 10 months before they bottle it.
Ooh, yep.
So it's got that
that taste,
very strong,
yep,
potent taste. But
yeah,
I was not expecting that when I first took a sip of it, and I was like, oh my god, surprise, I'm drunk.
Yeah, yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah, so this is, the style is still a Doppelbock, but it is very potent.
Yes,
it's probably like, it doesn't say, but it felt like it's like stored in whiskey barrels or something weird like that. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere.
Whatever it is, it's made to be strong. That's for sure.
So Samichlaus.
It's not, whatever. Yes. Yep. So definitely check it out. It's a good one. It's a good one, especially if you just want one beer. Seal your night.
Just a little sipper.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I have one that is it's not nearly as powerful as what you're drinking, but it has become a new favorite of mine.
Oh, okay.
It's by Laurelwood Brewing Company, which is here in Portland. It's called Brew Dry Hopped Lager. And
Brew. Oh.
Yes. And so it's a lager with substance and a bite. So
with substance and bite. Okay.
Yes. They're like, a lot of lagers are just really easy and there's not a lot to them. And that's fine. That's fine. I appreciate those kind of beers from time to time, but this dry hopped lager, I love the dry hopping process. You get that dry taste. It's really flavorful. Definitely stands out, and I would say this is probably my favorite fall beer, which, I mean, I'm just guessing it's a fall beer. I don't know. I hadn't seen it earlier in the season, so even if it's not, it is my fall beer. So I'm going with that. But man, I'm a big fan. This is definitely my go-to, at least for the next month or so until we get into deep holiday beers. So
I know we'll definitely have to do one of those episodes coming up.
A 7-hour beer tasting, the holiday beer tasting episode. Get ready, everyone.
Well, we're gonna have to have maybe some food to go along with that this time.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Some food to go along with all that beer tasting.
Yeah, we could do this. We could do a whole thing. We'll have a nice turkey in the middle. We'll have all of our beer.
Well, yeah. Turkey and all the trimmings.
Yes. So, so if our descriptions of these beers interest you, check out the Heavy Conversation beer list on Untapped, and you can see all of the beers that we enjoy or don't enjoy. And,
that we drink at least.
Yes, and choose your favorites from there.
Brew Deck. Sorry.
Yes.
Trying to add yours to that.
Yeah. Yep. So it is a good beer. I'm digging it. Let's see what else. So there are lots of other shows, but I'll spare you. I've kind of gone back to finish things that I've missed or that I'm behind on. So Evil, which is on Paramount Plus. It's just kind of a fun sort of CBS-y show where they can curse.
Oh,
So it's on Paramount Plus, so they can get away with things they couldn't do if it was on, network TV.
okay.
Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus. I finished that up because I know the third season is on its way. It has one of the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I can't remember which one, but if
Okay.
you watch the show, you'll know. And it's basically about these video game developers who make a super popular video game. It's a sitcom. It's good. It's really good. I had started it and I kind of just stopped and forgot about it for, I don't know, a year or two,
Right.
something like that. And I had finished my House of the Dragon and Rings of Power and was like, okay, now what?
Now what?
And yeah. And so Apple TV was like, why don't you watch this? And
Oh.
so I did. And I finished it. It was really good. I'm excited for the next season. Let's see what else. I also finished the Beatles documentary Get Back that was on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And I went into this, so it's like I think it's 3 episodes, and they're like
Mhm.
multiple hours long, something like that. So I went into this not the biggest Beatles fan. Like I'm not, I don't have
Yeah.
go-to songs. They're not a band that I really had followed, but it's the Beatles. So,
Yeah.
you know them, whether you know them, they're
Right.
everywhere.
Right.
But watching this, it gave me a really interesting, like newfound appreciation for the band. It is basically, if you haven't watched Get Back or heard about it, Peter Jackson, who directed the Lord of the Rings trilogy films, took all of this footage from the last time that when the Beatles were working on their last album. So basically it was like a few weeks in their life of these guys coming into these studios and trying to write an album, and they were writing the songs there, like in real time. So, some of them would come in with little bits and pieces of songs, but they would work them out and go through this whole process there, basically in real time. So
Oh,
as they were being filmed, and
they're
it
just whipping
was
out songs.
totally. And so and it's really interesting because they're doing songs that but they are, it's before they're like iconic. So it's, so they're talking about these songs what's that one called? What's the one that you were, just kind of like going through and I don't know. It was so interesting to see them. They'd be talking about something like Let It Be. They were like, what's that? The slow one? Let It Be. Is that the one that, it's like, yes. And their different personalities were really shown in these episodes. Like Paul came in and was like, let's get this work done. Let's do this thing. And he early on was really pushing to get the other guys to work, basically.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just it was so interesting to see like how they took a little idea and made it work. And then to also see, it's easy to think that, they really didn't get along and that everything just blew apart. And I really think that it's the thing that we always see is that when people become mega famous, and I mean, at that time in 1968, whatever, 70, they were the biggest band in the world without question.
Right.
And these guys, they come in and they've got like, they're being filmed and they've got like these, there's industry people that are trying to get them to do things and they're fawning over them. And there's like, at one point, George Harrison comes in with an entourage of different, different people. And, John has Yoko sitting right next to him as they're like working out the songs. And it's just this really interesting dynamic just to see how they, what they were all like. But as they get into it, they really start to just like groove, and they start to have fun, and they're doing like alternate versions of their songs with like jokey lyrics, and they're just being silly and dumb and having fun. And you can see that these guys, especially Lennon and McCartney, had known each other and been performing and working together, creating art for so long, that they had this friendship and this relationship.
Vibes really quick.
Yeah. And it was so good. And like I said, I don't by any means, I'm not an exhaustive Beatles fan where I know all the songs. So some of the songs I'd heard bits and pieces of, but never really paid attention to.
Yeah.
And after this, I've really started to go back and listen, and I realize how much of an influence their music had on so many things that have come out over the decades and even today. And then it's also interesting to listen to the things that they kind of went back to, like the blues and older rock and roll, and where they got their inspiration from. So I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So I highly recommend, if you got some time to burn and you want to watch a documentary that might make you look at the Beatles a little differently, that's the one to look at.
Nice. I watched a little documentary. It was just a one movie about Iris Apfel. She's a big she was I don't know, fashion maybe influencer, but she's like 93 years old, been around forever. She just has this crazy way of that she dresses all the time. It's very uniquely her, but how she just has influenced a lot of designers over the years. It was really just kind of cool to see. She has like apartments full of all her clothes and accessories and jewelry and all this stuff, and like learning about her and her husband, how they used to own like a fabric weaving mill, because originally she was a designer, like an interior designer, and she was trying to find these certain fabrics, couldn't find them, started making them herself. It was just kind of crazy to see like how she has influenced so many different designers and stuff like that. It was just kind of cool. She's had actually her outfits and jewelry and stuff have been in the Museum of Modern Art. Like they did a whole exhibit.
Oh, wow.
Of like all her outfits, and it was like one of their highest attended exhibits they've had. Yeah, I don't know, it was just kind of cool. It's called Iris on Prime Video, but yeah, Iris Apfel. She wears crazy necklaces and just mishmashed colors, but they all like just go together really well somehow. Like she just has a really great eye.
I'm looking at photos of her now, and she's got these big round, like oversized
big glasses. Yep.
Yeah. And such a bright and out there style. That's awesome. I'm gonna add that.
It was just kind of fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Apfel.
Apfel.
Yep. And she has a thing about I'm trying to remember what she says. It's like I don't remember. She has like a famous quote about like you can be fashionable, but you can buy fashion, but you can't buy style, or something like that. Like everyone
Makes
has
sense.
to. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I'm adding it to my list. Yeah, I mean, there are a few other things that I watched, but I feel like we've covered a lot here. So I've got the list. We'll have that in the notes of some of these things that we're watching. So
let us know what we're missing, what you're watching, some glaring misses that we didn't include.
Totally. That's the thing, is that you're always missing something because there's just so much. So I am excited for Black Panther, which comes out, Black Panther 2, which comes out, I guess as you're listening to this, comes out this week.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll be
Maybe
good.
I'll try and get to the theater again and see that one.
Yes, I'm curious to see what they what they do, where they take things for that.
Yeah, I've seen a
So,
few trailers for it, so
yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty interesting. So that's all that I've got at this point.
yeah, that's a lot of shows to watch.
Yes.
And it's a couple things for me to I remembered that I need to go back and finish watching. So probably do that tonight.
Yep, perfect.
All right, well, thanks, Bruce.
Well, thank you, Jody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your
Podcast.